Hi, it's Sylvester, and you may know this about me, but I have been obsessed with YouTube since I was a teenager. The first YouTuber I started watching regularly was Charlotte McDonnell, and through her, I found out about Nerdfighteria and learned about John and Hank Green, and the rest is, as you say, history. I've wanted to be a YouTuber for a long time. Back in 2015, I was working a minimum wage job. It was sucking my soul. I hated it. It was making my mental health worse. At the time, I hadn't been diagnosed with anything, but I was struggling with undiagnosed PTSD, major depressive disorder, and generalized anxiety disorder, as well as OCD, which didn't get diagnosed until many years later. But I was struggling very hard and working 40 hours a week at a minimum wage job that I hated, that barely paid the bills, was making my mental health worse. And I started making YouTube videos because I wanted to make that my career. I knew that it probably wouldn't happen right away, but I figured if I did it for long enough and I put enough of my heart and soul and myself into it, eventually I would get my career off the ground, and someday I'd be able to pay my bills by making YouTube videos. That was the dream. Here we are, nearly 10 years later, and I have fewer than 100 subscribers, and you can probably tell that things have not gone according to my plan. In 2019, I got pretty close to becoming a YouTuber. I was followed on Instagram by a famous YouTuber. It looked like everything was finally going to happen for me. It really seemed like my channel was starting to take off. And then I had this pesky thing called a psychotic breakdown, started hearing voices and seeing things, and I ruined my channel and ruined my chances of becoming a YouTuber. And at this point, I am coming to terms, slowly but surely, learning to accept that I will probably never be a YouTuber by profession. I will probably never make money off of this platform. And that honestly hurts me a lot, more than you might think. I have shed many tears thinking about my discarded dream. I have spent many years putting so much of myself into this channel and trying so hard to get it to be what I wanted it to be. And again, at this point, it really seems like that's not going to happen. And as much as that disappoints me, and as much as it scares me to think that I am gonna have to give up on my dream, I am kind of, in a way, relieved. Don't get me wrong, I'm still very depressed about it and very bummed out. But there are parts of me that were very scared of the idea of becoming a YouTuber. I gotta look on the bright side, and I gotta think about the things that would have sucked had I become a YouTuber. Because honestly, it is not an easy job. I know a lot of people think that being a YouTuber is easy, and even though I've never been a professional YouTuber, I can tell you that it is absolutely not easy putting yourself out there. One of the hardest things about becoming a YouTuber is just putting that first video out there and putting yourself out there, being seen by people and heard by people and judged by people. People on the internet are not historically known to be the nicest people, especially when given anonymity. And so I have faced quite a bit of scrutiny. I've seen my fair share of hate comments. I've been called all sorts of things, and people have commented some very, very hurtful stuff on my channel. And it honestly does take a very, very thick skin in order to do this. And honestly, there's a reason. I've known people in my life who'd say like, oh, someday I'm gonna be a YouTuber. I'm gonna just start making videos, and I'd say, well, why don't you do it? And they're like, oh, well, it's not the right time, and they'd make up excuses. But I knew damn well that the reason they didn't do it is because it really does take a lot of balls to put yourself out there, to put yourself on the internet, knowing that there's a possibility that a lot of people are going to see it. It takes a lot of courage, and I really do pat myself on the back for having the courage to put myself out here and to be myself, as weird and at times problematic as I am. I at least had the guts to put myself out there. and to put myself in front of a potential audience of who knows how many people. Every video I make, there's a possibility that that might be the video that gets millions of views, and I always have to prepare myself for that. If it's a dumb video, or if it's a video where I overshare, or a video where I talk about something really personal, I always have to mentally prepare myself for the fact that people might see this video. And as I said, there's the possibility that people are going to comment on your video, and people tend to be kind of mean when they are allowed to hide behind an anonymous screen name. People say some really messed up stuff, frankly, and I've had my feelings hurt a lot, and at times I've found that I would take things to heart more so than other times. It depends on the comment, it depends on the day. But there were times when I just wouldn't even read my comments because I knew that there was a possibility that people would be saying horrible things, and I just didn't want to read those things. I just wanted to put the content out there and then just pretend that people weren't going to leave feedback on it, because it just scared me to think about the kind of stuff that people would say. And as somebody who has struggled with self-confidence and self-esteem, I know that there are some pretty mean things that I say about myself to myself. And I know that to hear somebody else saying those things about me would hurt twice as much, because it would just confirm negative beliefs I have about myself. And especially when you make content where you open up about stuff that's hard to talk about. Like, I remember back in the day, a comment that really hit me hard, even though it is not anywhere near the worst comment I've ever gotten, it still really hurt me because it was on a video where I was really making myself quite vulnerable. I was talking about how I've struggled with self-image issues and how I've struggled with my weight for most of my life, and content warning, eating disorders. I was talking in that video about how I've suffered with them. I've had eating disorders in my life. And the first and only comment that I got on that video was somebody saying, you'd look really good if you just toned up a little bit, or if you just slimmed down a little bit, or something. I don't even remember the exact way they phrased it, but it was something along the lines of, you'd be hot if you just lost a little bit of weight, something to that effect. And it really felt like a dagger in my chest, because the whole point of the video was that I was trying really hard to love myself and to love my body the way that it was. And I was trying real hard to not have this negative view of myself, and talking about how I struggled with my weight, and the first and only comment that I get is somebody commenting on my weight, telling me that I'm not good enough, and I would be good enough if all I did was lose a little bit of weight, as if it was that simple, as if I'd never tried that before. If you go up to a fat person and say, have you tried not being fat? Like, this is how we perceive you. Have you tried not being fat? Like, we see you as a dumbass. Like, you say that to a fat person, like, no shit, Sherlock. Oh my god, have I tried being skinny? Wow, what a novel concept. No, I've literally never thought about that a second in my life. I, a fat person in a very fat-phobic society, have never once considered the possibility of being skinny. Wow, if I just thought I should be skinny, then suddenly I'd just snap my fingers and be skinny. But no, I'm fat because I actively made a choice to be this way, because, that's how fucking life works. Like, I still get mad thinking about that stupid fucking comment, because, like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Telling a person who has suffered with eating disorders that they should just lose a little bit of weight and then you'll find them hot. As if the thing that I need in my life is for this random person on the internet to find me hot. Like, how big of an ego do you need to have to think that all it takes for a person to lose weight is to tell them that you'd find them hot if they lost weight? Like, thanks, random person. Your opinion really matters that much to me that I'd be willing to alter my actual body in order to make you think that I'm hot. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Just the balls of some people, the freaking, the audacity, the absolute freaking audacity. Like, I'm still pissed. You can tell I'm still pissed. And, like, sometimes that's what comments do to a person on the internet. You know, that is what happens when you decide to make videos about your life and put yourself out there on the internet, is you're going to get some people who are going to make some pretty crappy comments, and the only thing you can really do about it is just kind of get mad about it. And it's like there's nothing you can really do other than just kind of get mad, and that's exactly what that person wanted from me. I mean, probably not. That person probably left that comment genuinely thinking that they were being helpful. Like, I bet this fat person has never once considered the possibility that they might be attractive if they lost weight. Like, I can't imagine how a person might be dumb enough to think that, but I do believe that there are people out there who are dumb enough to think that. So I think the person who left that comment was just very unintelligent. But for the most part, when people leave angry or mean comments on your videos, they are trying to get a rise out of you. They are trying to upset you, and they get power out of feeling like they are able to cause a stranger on the internet to have a bad day. And so when I get a bad comment and it causes me to have a bad day or a bad week or a bad month, it just bothers me even more that it bothers me, because I know that bothering me is exactly what the person wanted when they left that comment. And by allowing the comment to bother me, I am letting them win. And so when I get mean comments, I try so hard to just laugh it off, or to try to think about like where the person was coming from, like what kind of life they must have to try to make themselves feel good by putting strangers on the internet down. Like, you know, your life must be pretty shitty if the only thing that brings you joy is leaving a negative comment on somebody's video. You know, you have no idea who I am. I'm just some random guy on the internet. And so in order to make yourself feel better and make yourself feel powerful, you have to try to bring me down. How shitty is your life if that is what it takes to make you feel good? I know that most people who do this sort of thing are not shitty people. They're just people in shitty circumstances. They're teenagers who are being bullied and who have come from a bad home life, and it's adults who are maladjusted and have a job that they hate. And, you know, like, I try to think about the circumstances and the bad things in that person's life that lead them to need to comment bad things on other people's videos in order to feel good about themselves. And sometimes I'll go the extra mile and click on their YouTube channel, the one they left a comment with, and see the kind of person they are based on what I can learn from their YouTube channel. Like, for example, if I get a transphobic comment from somebody, I will click on their YouTube channel and then find out that they're subscribed to Blair White, and suddenly it all makes sense to me. Like, oh, of course this person's a transphobe. I know that transphobes are people who are raised in transphobic societies. They might be somebody who comes from a transphobic community or a transphobic family, and it's not their fault, and blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Transphobes are assholes, and I have no time for that shit. And I think they're shitty people, regardless of why they are transphobes. It's like, it's 2024. If you're still a transphobe in 2024, you're just kind of a shitty person. I'm sorry, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Leave me a negative comment down below if you want me to know that I'm super wrong and should be ashamed of myself. Hey, let me have that engagement. That's another way that I try to make myself feel better about negative comments, is by thinking these people are helping my channel, because YouTube doesn't care if a comment is positive or negative. The point, all they care about is that you are getting comments. If your video gets a lot of people commenting on it, then YouTube is more likely to promote that video to other people, because your video is getting engagement, and YouTube really likes engagement. So if I get a video and all of the comments are just people leaving transphobic bullshit and being mean to me, it's still, I try to remind myself that these people are trying to hurt me, but it's backfiring because they are actually helping my channel. And so, again, I get to try to kind of feel superior, be like, haha, you thought you'd hurt me, but sucks to be you, because your comment is benefiting me, so go suck on a lemon. And I'm actually really proud of myself, because when I first started on YouTube, I had anger issues, which I still have anger issues, but I'm working on them. My medication has definitely helped with my anger a lot, so thank God for medication. But I have always been a pretty angry person, and I used to have an inability to control myself when I would get negative comments. I would just jump right in those comments and argue with people. And I've gotten a lot better at not doing that. I've gotten way, way better at just ignoring the really bad comments. And so I'm very proud of myself for that. But I really did kind of spend way too much of my time in my early days on YouTube just arguing with people in the comments, and that is such a waste of time. Arguing with people on the internet is such a waste of time. All it does is drain you of your energy, put you in a bad mood, and people who are leaving negative comments on YouTube videos are generally not the kind of people who are going to sit and listen to a rational argument. They probably left that comment because they want to fight and they want to argue because they find it fun to pick fights with people on the internet because they have nothing better to do with their lives. And so I would take the bait and I'd argue with these people, and they would never, it would never change any, like if a transphobe left a transphobic comment and I left another comment saying, like, here's why your argument is invalid and here's why what you said was harmful, I've never had an instance where somebody was like, wow, thank you for educating me. I'm sorry I left that comment, and now I'm a better person thanks to you because I listened to what you had to say and I have an open mind and I am no longer a transphobe. That has never happened, and that would probably never happen because, again, people who leave negative comments are oftentimes just looking to start an argument and will never believe that what they believe is wrong, or they will never listen to what another person has to say because they've already made up their mind that I'm right, this person's wrong, and I'm going to own them. I'm going to school them. I'm going to make them look dumb. And no matter how educated your response might be or how well-intentioned your response might be, they're just happy that they got enough of a rise out of you to get a response from you. So I think the best thing to do when people leave crappy comments is to just not acknowledge it. And if the comments are really that bad, you should block them, or I've decided to block people from commenting on my channel, not for my sake, because like I said, engagement is good, and any comment is a good comment, in the same way that all press is good press, but it's for other people who come to my videos. I don't like them seeing certain types of hate in the comments. Like, if I make a video about being trans and all of the comments are people being transphobic, I can't imagine what it would feel like to be a trans person who finds one of my videos, clicks on it, and all you see are just triggering comments. It would bother people, like it would really upset people. Or if I have like fat shaming comments that I feel like genuinely could harm somebody other than me. If I click on a video about a trans person and all the comments are being transphobic, that's going to upset me as a trans person because I'm having to see all of these people out there who are transphobes, and it's just going to be a reminder of how transphobic our society is and how it's inescapable. And so even though none of those comments are directed at me or were meant to make me feel bad, I'm going to feel bad. And so again, if there's like a fat shaming comment on one of my videos, then some fat person might see that and it could really upset them and hurt them, and I don't want other people to be hurt because of my videos. So there are certain types of comments and certain commenters who I will just straight up ban from commenting on my channel because it's just, I do not tolerate certain things here on my channel. Because the comments, even though I don't control the comments, it's still sort of a representation of my channel. When you look at somebody's video, the comment section of the video is sort of a reflection of the video itself in a weird sort of way. And so if I make a video and all of the comments on it are people just being the worst type of people, then I feel like that reflects poorly on me and my channel, even though I don't really, I mean, because I do control the comments. I do have some say in who gets to comment and who doesn't, and what comments stay up and what comments get deleted. And so if I let negative comments that might hurt people stay up on my channel, that is that reflects poorly on me as a person and as a content creator. And so again, I want to control my channel at least to a certain degree, and I want to control how my channel is perceived at least to a certain degree. Also, back in the day, I wouldn't just argue with people in the comments, which was again a waste of my time, and also giving these people exactly what they wanted, which was a reaction. I would also sometimes make videos about negative comments. If I got a comment that bothered me enough, I would make a video talking about the comment and roasting the commenter and just talking about how much it bothered me and why it bothered me and all that sort of stuff. And the most recent time that I did that was, I think, in 2023, so not that long ago. But there was one person who would constantly comment on my videos, and they would always leave transphobic comments, but it was like so annoying because it was always transphobia disguised as concern, which is something we on the internet call concern trolling, which is when somebody trolls you but they're pretending to be concerned for your well-being. And so this person would tell me that I should detransition, and would tell me that my hormones were the cause of all of my mental health problems, and that my hormones were doing all sorts of bad things to me, and that they were completely unhealthy. It still pisses me off. And so I made this whole video. They left this massive comment. It was they basically wrote a novel, again, pretending to be concerned for my health, telling me why testosterone and being a trans man was so bad for me, and it was ruining my life, and like blah 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 blah. Like, I'm just telling you this because I'm concerned. And so I made this long video reading their massive comment, just like going over all of the points that they made that were stupid, and explaining to them why their comment was extremely not okay, and why they shouldn't pretend to be concerned about a trans person and then use that as a reason to be transphobic towards said trans person. And I just went off on this person, and it was probably like a half-hour long video, honestly, because I just had a lot to say and I was so pissed off. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes I get a comment that I just need to vent about. Now I have a therapist, so hopefully I'll talk to my therapist rather than make a video about it, because again, making a video is probably exactly what this person, like, maybe not exactly what this person wanted, but like they had to have known that their comments were upsetting me, and they had to have known that the science they alluded to in their comments was just bullshit, and so they were probably not concerned at all and were just trying to get a reaction out of me. And me making an entire half-hour video about their comment was, again, probably making them happy, because they realized that the thing they said to try to hurt me actually did hurt me enough that I made a video about it. And so, again, I was just giving this person maybe not what they want. Well, yeah, I was giving them what they wanted, which was a reaction of some kind. I was giving them a reaction and letting them know that the thing they said to hurt me actually did hurt me. And so it really isn't beneficial for me to make videos about comments that are bad, because I should really be shining a spotlight on and focusing on the good comments and the good people who watch my videos, instead of spending so much time focusing on the negative. And I feel like a lot of my channel at one point was literally just me making videos responding to negative comments, to a point where it probably felt like you didn't want to watch my videos, because all it was just me spouting negativity and just being upset about stuff. And like, I don't know how fun that is to watch. I mean, I used to like watching videos of people just getting really mad about stuff, but, maybe those videos had some entertainment value. But at the same time, if you were somebody who watched my videos and liked me and supported me and left positive comments, it would probably seem really draining to you that it's like, okay, this guy, all he does is focus on the negative people, and all he does is focus on the mean commenters, but there's people like me who really support him, and he just seems to ignore me and pretend that there aren't people out there who are supporting his channel and being nice to him. And so, like, what's the point of supporting his channel and being nice to him if all he's gonna do is focus on the bad guys and the shitty people? You know, I've learned my lesson, but like I said, the last time I did it was as recently as 2023, so, and I can't guarantee it's not going to happen in the future, because sometimes people just leave comments that you just want to rant about. And it's just so hard sometimes to resist that urge. So hard, but I will try. So, long story short, I've learned from these past almost 10 years of being on YouTube to not take the comments so seriously and not let them get under my skin as much as I can, to just try to let it slide. Remember that the people leaving these comments probably have hard lives, and they're probably in a shitty situation if they feel like they have to leave a negative comment on someone's video in order to feel better about themselves. And remember that some people just suck, and some people are just shitty, and I shouldn't be wasting my time and energy and attention on them. And, you know, I try to remember all of these things, and I try to just let it go when I see negative comments, and just realize that half the time it's not even personal. You know, sometimes people leave comments that are just them disagreeing with things that I've said, and that is not a personal attack on me. That just means that we are two different human beings who have two different ideas of what it means to be human, and so we're naturally going to disagree on some things, and that is okay. And a lot of times I make videos that I know are purposefully controversial, like my recent Nicki Minaj video. I'm surprised that the Barbs haven't come after me yet, because there's a lot of people on the planet who really, 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 really love Nicki Minaj to a point where they would probably literally kill for her. And so for some snot-nosed punk to be here on the internet making a video about how I just don't really like her that much because she's a little bit too problematic, even for me, even though I stand up for a lot of problematic people, like, you know, I have my reasons for why Nicki Minaj isn't my favorite, and I feel like I make some pretty decent points, but it doesn't matter, because there are people out there who, again, would probably literally die for her and kill for her, and so I'm just pissing people off by even saying anything negative at all about her, and I understand that, and I'm expecting to get bad comments on that video because I am making a video about a very controversial take on a very controversial subject, and so I do imagine it's not going to be received well. And so I kind of try to have a thick skin and realize, like, I made that video for attention. I made that video specifically for views. And so if I can't handle the people coming after me for making a controversial video, then I shouldn't have made a purposefully inflammatory, controversial video, you know? And I have to kind of accept that this is what I was literally asking for this. If I get negative comments on that video, it's because I was literally asking for it, you know? And so I'm trying to have a thick skin and remember that if I want to grow my channel, which I still do, I know that I'll probably never be a professional, rich-ass YouTuber, but I still want to grow my channel and get more attention and views, because Papa loves him some attention, all right? It makes me feel valid as a human being, and it's probably wrong that I require internet views on videos in order to feel valid, but, you know, that's a conversation to have with my therapist. So, but I do want to grow my channel, and so if I'm making videos that I know are going to get a reaction out of people, because that's how you grow your channel on YouTube, is by making videos that cause people to have some kind of strong reaction, I have to understand that that's going to come along with some unpleasant comments. And again, this is YouTube as a career or as a hobby is something that takes a very thick skin and a lot of balls, frankly. And again, I pat myself on the back for that, because I am very ballsy for making the videos that I make and doing what I do. Even if you think that this is stupid, even if you think that I'm stupid, you have to at least give me a little bit of credit and say that I have some courage in order to do this. This is not, for a 31-year-old man to sit on the internet wearing cute little cat ears. They're not fox ears, they're cat ears, okay? It's a metaphor for my transness. I have to explain that every time, but for a 31-year-old man to sit here on the internet wearing cute little kitty cat ears and talking smack about famous people, that seems dumb, and it seems like it doesn't take that much courage. But I guarantee you, if you tried to do what I do, you would find it's a lot harder than it looks. But at times, I am glad that my channel is not bigger than it is, or at least that I don't have millions upon millions of views, because the comments I would get would probably break me at some point. I really do have a lot of respect for YouTubers, because I know, I'm a small channel and I've gotten some pretty upsetting comments. And so for somebody who has an audience of millions of people, the amount of bad comments would obviously multiply based on how many views you're getting. The more views, the more negative comments you're going to get, and the more people are commenting on your videos, the more likely you're going to get some extremely messed up comments and people saying some extremely messed up and hurtful and just truly fucked up shit. And so in order to be able to handle thousands of people potentially being mean to you on the internet, that takes a lot. Somebody who has 1 million or more subscribers, or even just 100,000 or more subscribers, even less than that, 50K or more, it doesn't matter how big your audience is. The point is, the bigger audience you have, the more people are going to come after you. The more famous you are, especially as a YouTuber, the more people are going to come after you, especially because people just really hate and do not respect YouTubers. People do not respect YouTube as a career. People think that YouTubers are just idiots who make videos and they have no talent, and they have, it's the easiest job ever, and blah, blah, blah. People have no respect for YouTubers. In fact, until very recently, if you said you were a YouTuber as your career, most people would say, that's not a job. What are you talking about? And we're only now getting to a place where people are coming to accept that YouTuber is a valid, legitimate career. But I hear a lot of YouTubers talk about how a lot of people in their lives still don't understand it. They get hundreds of thousands of views on their videos, and the people in their lives are still like, so how do you make money? You just make videos. That's not a job. What are you talking about? And people just do not respect YouTube as a career path and do not respect YouTubers. And so the more eyes there are on you, the more people are going to be crappy to you, simply because you're a famous YouTuber. And people just hate famous YouTubers. They hate anybody who's more famous and successful than themselves. A lot of people just want to watch people who they think of as more successful than themselves burn. It's just a jealousy thing. A lot of people are really jealous of YouTubers because, again, you see these people with money and fame, and they seem to have this easy job, quote unquote, where all they have to do is make videos, and you get mad at them because you're jealous and you want to take them down a peg because you think they don't deserve the money and the fame that they have, because all they do is make stupid videos that aren't even worth watching. And it's like, well, honey, if their videos were that stupid and that not worth watching, then they would have fewer views. People watch their videos and made them famous because their videos have some kind of value, even if the content seems stupid. People who do gaming on YouTube, a lot of people look down on that. Is all you do is play video games? That's what your job is? Wow, everybody plays video games. That's not a career. Well, clearly there's something entertaining about these people. Clearly they are offering some kind of valuable service, because people are watching. A lot of people are watching their videos. So if their videos were that stupid, and they probably have 0 views. There is something to be said about the fact that their videos provide entertainment value, and when you look at stuff that airs on television, a lot of it isn't any dumber than the stuff that YouTubers do. I mean, this person plays video games and comments on the video games and makes jokes about it. That's their whole job. That sounds like that's dumb content. Who would want to watch that? And then they turn around and watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. You have to admit that it's kind of dumb. Like, how is that enriching your life in any way other than it's entertaining to you? That is something that you find entertaining. Great. So don't make fun of me for finding it entertaining watching a YouTuber play a video game and make jokes. That is entertaining to me. Why? Because it just is. And entertainment value is still value. So anyways, I just people do not like YouTubers and do not respect the work that YouTubers do. Again, there's a reason these famous YouTubers are famous. It's not because they were just handed something. It's because they legitimately produced some kind of content that was worthwhile enough for a lot of people to watch. Like, a lot of people agreed that this is something worth consuming, and this is something that I enjoy watching, and this is something that is entertaining to me. And so, they earned those millions of subscribers. They earned those millions of views. Whether or not you understand why that is, whether or not you understand why people find it entertaining, whether or not you enjoy the content, maybe the content's just not for you. That doesn't mean it's not for everyone. I don't particularly enjoy Storage Wars, but that doesn't mean I think the show needs to be canceled and people need to stop watching it because it's a waste of your time, because the show offers no real value. You're allowed to watch Storage Wars or Keeping Up with the Kardashians or freaking America's Next Top Model, which actually I did watch a lot of America's Next Top Model, but you have to admit that that's kind of a dumb show. What useful skill did I learn by watching that? Nothing. It was just entertaining, and that's the point of content, is to be entertaining or to give somebody a reason to want to watch it. And a lot of people decided that they had a reason to want to watch it, and so therefore it is valid entertainment. And anyways, I've argued this point for too long. Moving on, the point that I'm trying to make here is that everybody hates YouTubers, and I don't know if I were to become a massively famous YouTuber, if I were to be able to handle the amount of hatred that I would get, because I specifically, especially as a slightly effeminate trans man, I would probably get eaten alive by the conservatives, and, I have a lot of controversial opinions that give people a lot of reasons to want to hate me, and so, again, for that reason, I would just, get a lot of people who just hate me because they hate me, and who would want to attack me, and would leave terrible comments, and there's also the possibility that people hate you so much that they want to stalk you because they want to physically harm you, or psychologically harm you, because leaving bad comments is not enough. And if you become a big enough YouTuber, people are going to stop you in the street and say mean things to you. It's not just going to be comments in a comment section. If you are known by millions of people, there is no way that you're not going to get some kind of real life face-to-face hate. And I don't know how I would react to that, especially since I have anger issues. If somebody who watches my videos approached me in public and said something mean about me, or tried to start a fight with me because they just didn't like me and my content, I can't guarantee that I wouldn't get into a fight with that person, and that would not be a good look. I am not here to try to get into physical fights. I know I have a number of videos on this channel talking about physical fights that I've gotten into, but that is not the person I want to be. I do not want to be getting into even just verbal fights with people. I do not want to get into fights. I just don't want to. I might have anger issues, but it doesn't bring me any pleasure or joy to get into fights with people. It really, really doesn't. It just drains me of my energy. And so I do not know how I would react, or I might just start crying if somebody came up to me in the street and just made a negative comment about me and my channel and the videos I made. I could start sobbing, and that would be embarrassing. Hell, I don't even know how I would react to somebody coming up to me in the street and saying something positive to me. If people came up to me and asked for my autograph and asked for pictures with me, that would get old really quickly. I am an introvert. I like to be left alone. I like to go for long walks. TikToks. If I had millions of subscribers, I would not be able to walk down the street without somebody asking for my photo or being like, hey, you're Sylvester, I love your content. And that would honestly be probably quite draining for me because, again, I'm an introvert and I have social anxiety and I do not know how to react to people, especially when they compliment me in public. So it would be a lot. And like, what if I'm just having a bad kind of day and somebody comes up to me and asks for a photo with me and I don't feel like getting my photo taken with some random person that I don't know? And what if I'm kind of a dick and I'm just like, look, no, I don't want to have a photo taken today. And I'm just like in a bad mood and I'm grumpy, rather. The next thing you know, there's all sorts of rumors being oh my god, I can't talk, being spread about me, saying that I am not appreciative of my fans and I'm mean to people and like, stuff like that. And another thing that would bother me a lot if I were to become a famous YouTuber is that I would be unable to control how people perceive me. I'm sure that people would spread a lot of rumors about me. There'd be a lot of people gossiping and making videos about me and dragging up stuff from my past that I would rather not be drug up and trying to cancel me. And trust me, I've said and done enough stuff to be canceled 10 times over at this point, and so they would have a lot to work with. And like, that's why I like and feel bad for people like Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star, because I see these videos by people like Nikki Carrion, where Nikki Carrion made 4 videos, I think, each of them like 3 hours long, just trying to take down Jeffree Star and just going through every little problematic thing that Jeffree has ever done in his entire life. And like, that feels kind of like bullying to me. Like, leave the poor guy alone. Like, Jeffree probably gets enough of that bullshit. Just like, leave the guy alone. And I like Nikki Carrion, and I like watching videos of people talking shit about YouTubers. I don't know why. There is a part of me that does feel like I'm getting the juicy gossip about these people that I spend a lot of time watching, and I don't really watch Jeffree Star that much, but actually I've only watched like one Jeffree Star video in my life, honestly, but like these people that I look up to and YouTubers that I am at least aware of and respect as people, like seeing all of these videos of people just shitting on them and trying to cancel them and gossiping about them, and it just makes me feel like this is a form of harassment. And like, again, Nikki Carrion has every right to make those videos, and I'm not saying that Nikki is harassing Jeffree or bullying Jeffree. It just feels that way to me because I can imagine what it would be like to be Jeffree Star. Again, I've said and done enough problematic stuff to be canceled 10 times over at this point, and if somebody made 4 3-hour-long videos about all of the stuff that I've done that I regret in my life, it would make me feel bad. And I don't like feeling bad. And even though that person has every right to talk about stuff that I've said and done that's problematic, it would still make me feel bad. And I'm guilty of this too. I make videos about YouTubers. I make videos about famous people. I make videos talking shit about people who I perceive to be problematic. I do this as well. Like I said, I just made a Nicki Minaj video talking shit about her. And I imagine if Nicki Minaj saw my video, it would make her feel bad. And so maybe that's bullying. Maybe that's harassment. I don't know. But at the same time, somebody like Nicki Minaj feels like less of a real person to me than a YouTuber does, which I know that's flawed logic because celebrities are real people, and there is a possibility that Nicki Minaj might someday see my video and it would hurt her feelings, and I don't want that. I'm not out here trying to make Nicki Minaj feel bad. I just wanted to have an opinion about a person whose career and persona generate a lot of opinions, like, I don't know. Again, am I a bad person for making a video talking about Nicki Minaj? Maybe, probably, but it feels worse to me when I make videos like that about YouTubers. And I have made a couple videos, some smash or pass videos, where I talk mild shit about YouTubers, and I do feel bad about those videos because, again, if any of those YouTubers were to see those videos, it would make them feel bad, and I don't really want to make people feel bad, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm very conflicted. I'm very conflicted. For somebody who claims to have a lot of empathy for YouTubers, it does feel kind of ass backwards that I made those videos talking about these YouTubers, because as much as I'm just stating my opinion on something that is in the public eye and something that I have every right to have opinions on and to state my opinions about, it does feel kind of shitty, because I know that these are real life human beings who might someday see my video and might feel bad about it. And maybe I should delete those videos now that I don't know, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. This is another reason why I would probably be not good at being a famous YouTuber, is because I always make videos that seem like a good idea at the time, and then later on I look back and I'm like, shouldn't have said that, shouldn't have done that, that came off wrong, and ooh, that people are not reacting well to that, and like, you know, and I have the luxury of just deleting the videos that I realize that I regret, and then it's fine because I only have 80 subscribers, and so theoretically only like 80 people at most have seen the video that I delete, and most of the time the videos have less than 10 views, so it's like, it's fine if I make a video that is regretful because only 10 people are gonna see it, and that's fine. But if I make a video and then later come to regret something I said or did in the video, and then millions of people see the video, I can delete it all I want. People are not going to forget. And it's been seen by so many people, you know, that it's like, I can never escape it and can never live it down. And it's just going to follow me for the rest of my life and be one more thing that Nikki Carrion can talk about in the 3-hour video about why I'm problematic and suck and you shouldn't follow me. You know, it's just... and like mild controversies. I posted videos and had mild controversies. You know, I've gotten like 5 or 6 comments of people being like, I think what you said was kind of racist, or like, you know, like one example is back in 2019, I made a drag video and I purchased a wig from Wish and it was like curly, and so people got mad at me. I got like 5 or 6 comments from people saying, take this video down, don't wear that wig, you are a white person wearing the hair texture of a black person. It is not okay for a white person to wear black people hair, cultural appropriation, like, you know, which again, I understand where these people were coming from, and I'm glad that a few of them took the time to explain to me why it was problematic, because the way I saw it, it was like, I'm allowed to wear whatever hairstyle I enjoy, and I thought that curly hair looked nice on me, and the wig did not specifically say this wig is for black people only, and I didn't see any problem with it. And if anything, I thought that I was being kind of a white savior in some way, of being like, you know, people think that this hairstyle is ugly, but that's just because people hate black people. So if I, a white person, say, actually, I like this kind of hair, then I am empowering black people and saying, I like your hair. Your hair is nice. Don't let other white people tell you that your hair sucks. And like, I saw it as like, I really thought that I was doing black people a favor by wearing this quote-unquote black hairstyle. And then I had the ability to kind of argue like, oh, but it's not really black people hair because it's blonde, first of all, and black people usually don't have blonde hair naturally. And, you know, so the fact that the wig was blonde meant that it's not cultural appropriation. And then I was able to even find examples of white people on the internet who have that texture of hair. And I was like, see, white people have curly hair like this too, so it's not cultural appropriation. But to have people actually tell me, like, you are essentially wearing a black person costume right now. You are essentially cosplaying as a black person by wearing a texture of hair that is not your own. And I'm doing a bad job of explaining why it was offensive, but I'm sure a lot of you watching this already know why it was offensive, and the people who explained it to me were a lot better at explaining why it was an offensive thing to do, and so I threw that wig out, never wore it again, and that was my first, like, big controversy. and I remember, you know, it kind of was exciting, but it also kind of upset me, because I'm just like, being called racist by people, and I just like I didn't realize that what I did was racist. I didn't think it was that wrong. Had I had millions of subscribers at the time, that controversy would have been a lot bigger. I would have had a lot of people calling me racist, a lot of people calling to have me canceled and to destroy my life and destroy my career because I deserve it, because I did this problematic thing. And instead of people being nice to me and trying to give me the benefit of the doubt and just explaining to me why what I did was wrong and giving me the chance to learn and grow from it and do better in the future, instead people would just say, that guy's a shitty person because he culturally appropriated, let's destroy his life, and he deserves to be treated like shit because he did this one shitty thing. But because I only have 80 subscribers, no one watching this probably remembers that happening at all. But the truth is, if I had 1 million subscribers, people would remember, and they would never ever let it go. No matter how much I had grown and changed and learned, no matter whether or not I did it again, people wouldn't care. They just hate me forever because I did the thing. And that would feel pretty bad, to have every small mistake that you make be held against you in the court of public opinion. Again, I have a lot of respect for YouTubers because, and again, that's why I stand up for people like Shane and Tana and Jeffree Star and like people like that, and Trisha Paytas, because to have every little thing that you do be put on this pedestal and be judged so harshly that you are like, all people make mistakes, all people do regrettable things, everybody does stuff that could get them canceled, everybody does problematic stuff, every single person on the planet. It's just that if you happen to be famous and in the public eye and you happen to make a mistake, it's not a mistake anymore, it's a reason to be hated. And it's just not fair. It's just not fair. And I feel really bad for famous YouTubers who have every little bad thing they've ever done get thrown in their face constantly, because it's like, can we just let it go? Can we ever just let it go? Like, the person did a bad thing 20 years ago. They haven't done it since. Can you just let it go? Not on the internet, you can't. And then, new subscribers say that they like this person, and then it's like, whoa, I can't believe you like that YouTuber. Did you know that he wore a problematic wig 10 years ago? It's like, well, now I hate him. And it's like, again, he did one bad thing one time. Just like, let it go, and people will not ever let it go. And the final reason why I feel like I don't know if I would ever be able to make it as a famous YouTuber is simply because having money stresses me out. The idea of being really rich stresses me out. But more than likely what would happen if I were to become a famous YouTuber is that I would become just famous enough to lose my benefits, but not famous enough to actually be rich. And so I would be stuck in this weird in-between area where I would constantly be scared of losing my career. I would constantly be on the edge of not having enough subscribers to keep myself afloat every month. And I would just be like, fighting to make enough money to survive. I'd be in a worse financial situation than if I had just stayed on disability benefits, because at least on disability benefits, I mean, I'm in poverty, but at least I get a consistent paycheck every month. I know that I have this money, I have a certain amount of money coming. With YouTube, it's very unpredictable. One month you might make a huge amount of money, and then the rest of the year you might make half that, and it's like, from month to month, you really have no idea how well you're going to be doing financially. It really could change in an instant. And again, you could get canceled suddenly. It just, one day you're doing fine, your channel's doing great, you're able to pay your bills. The next day, Twitter decides to cancel you, and then the next month you suddenly don't have enough to pay rent. And it's like, that's terrifying. People who make a living on YouTube really are always on the edge of potentially losing everything, and that is extremely stressful. And their paychecks are not guaranteed, and their paychecks are not consistent in the amount, or even in the fact that they might continue happening, like the fact that they could just stop getting paid altogether because YouTube might change their AdSense policy again, and then suddenly you're completely demonetized, and all of this money you were making from AdSense is suddenly gone, and now you have to rely solely heavily on Patreon and merch sales, and maybe your Patreon and merch sales aren't good enough to be able to survive the way you were surviving, and suddenly you are absolutely financially fucked. And it really, you really just, it's very scary. Being a YouTuber is a very scary career for a lot of reasons. And who knows, YouTube as a website might just stop existing at any moment. And then what do? Try to move to TikTok? That's a very difficult jump to make from one platform to another. Like, a lot of people can do it successfully, but at the same time, it's very difficult. And so, like, at any moment, everything you have could just be taken away from you, and you could just lose it all. And so, like I said, if I were to ever have my career suddenly take off, my YouTube channel suddenly take off, I would probably be one of those unlucky people who has just enough views to financially get by, but I'm constantly worried that I won't be able to keep myself afloat, and I'd be constantly worried that I'm gonna get canceled and lose it all. And like I said, I'll probably, knowing my luck, make just enough money to lose my benefits on disability support, but still not make enough money to move out of this apartment and like actually have a better life financially. And in fact, my life would probably be worse because I'd lose my healthcare benefits, I'd lose my drug benefits, I'd lose my dental care, I'd lose like all of that because YouTube doesn't come along with insurance as far as I'm aware. So, you know, there's that. And then I'd have to pay for all of my medication out of pocket, and suddenly I might not be able to afford my medication anymore because I'm making enough on YouTube to not be allowed on benefits or on disability support, but I'm not making enough to be able to pay for my medication. And so, like, you know, that is definitely something that really stresses me out. That's definitely a possibility that would suck very, very much so. To sum up this point, financial stability, not really a thing when you're a YouTuber. You just kind of have to cross your fingers and hope to God that things work out, because there is no guarantee. Honestly, there are probably a million more reasons why being a YouTuber would be very, very hard and why I probably would suck at it, but this video I've been recording for an hour and 6 minutes, so I probably should end this video and edit it just a little bit, because I've been making some pretty long videos recently, but an hour and 6 minutes might be a little bit too long. So we'll see what I can do. We'll see how much I can edit this video and make it a length that you might actually want to sit through. So if you have made it to the end, please leave me a comment saying, I watched till the very end of this video. I will be very impressed. I will not give you anything. You will not win anything, but just know I will be very impressed. So let me know if you made it this far, and you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Stay frosty. Bye.